Hi guys, and welcome back to My Crafty Dungeon. Today we are going to be making a little pumpkin sign with 3 little pumpkins, and it's a very easy and cheap craft to make. And so all you need is a glue gun, some paint, some sandpaper if you really want to. It's not a necessity. There's another way you could do it that I could tell you without it, but it's very easy. And so let's just get started. As of right now, I was just sanding off the sparkles on the front of it. I will not be using this side, but I just wanted to get as much of the sparkles off as possible. I could have done some more, but I wasn't going to use this side, so nobody would be able to see it anyways. So I did the best as I could, and it comes off alright, but if you plan on using this side, then you might want to do some more. Or I've done it on other Dollar Tree items that are like this material, and you can rip off that paper layer and it will be a canvas kind of. It may like be a little bit of a fuzzy type texture, but you can always paint that and also use the back as a front instead, like I did in this situation. Here I am just taking my black paint and going all over the surface of this side. I only did one layer just because, again, you're not going to see this side of where I'm going to put the sign at, because I put a stake on it and it's going to be against the wall, so you're not going to be able to see this. But if you felt like you needed a second layer, you can go ahead and put a second layer on. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see like the pumpkin faces if you do decide to use this side, but I didn't, and it was okay for me. But it's all in the eye of the beholder, so use your best judgment of what you would like to do. After you painted the front, which should be the back in this case now, black, you can go ahead and flip it over after it dries. I don't wait for things to dry. I'm very impatient, so if you look at my desk, you can see all the paint that's on it. I do clean it every once in a while, but I'm pretty much, for the most part, don't mind it being a little bit dirty. It just makes me feel a little bit more human. But anyways, after you've decided what color you're going to paint the back, and I painted mine black, I flipped it over and I started painting my front side of the colors you want the pumpkins to be. Now you can make your pumpkins whatever color you want. You can do a design on it. It's all up to yourself. I just went simply with the more muted earthy orange and brown color until I got the color I desired. At first it was a little bit more brown than orange that I wanted, but I just kept playing around with my paints and decided on a color. And then after I painted the base of it orange, I went in with more browns and more yellows and just gave it a different bit of a look to it with highlights and lowlights, and I think it looked good for myself in the end. But again, you can do whatever color you want. I've seen a lot of people doing white pumpkins, white and blue. I've seen a lot of green also. It's all up to you and what you want your pumpkins to look like. Here I am going in with my little bit of a darker brown, orangey a little bit color, and I am putting the lines on the pumpkin, or the grooves on the pumpkin, and I'm also going in with a little bit of a brighter orange to give the pumpkin a little bit of highlights in the center of those grooves, more or less. And I'm just trying to give it some more definition of making it look like a pumpkin and making it look more realistic in a way. And I think the final product of it actually looked pretty well for myself. Here you can see me going in with a light tan color for highlights on those grooves. Now I stuck mainly to the middle of the grooves, so like the middle of the pumpkin if you're looking at it from height wise. So I stuck with it there. You see me going the whole way down in each of the grooves, but I do cover up the tops and the bottoms of it with a darker brown to make it act like a bit of a shadow. But so it adds a lot. I can't stress that enough. It does add a lot to making your pumpkin look more realistic. Now here I am going in with those darker browns that I said that I put more towards the bottom and the tops of each pumpkins to make them look a bit like a shadow. I believe here I just kind of used my normal brown that came straight from the tube. I didn't really mess around with the color really, but you can use whatever browns you have, or if you want to mix it, again, just use your best judgment of whatever colors you want to use. Use what match your style, what match your other decor in the house, because you want everything to flow nicely. So you don't have to make it orange, or you don't have to copy what colors I'm using. Use your best judgment. Here I'm starting on the hat on top of the pumpkins, and at first when I bought this and I knew I was going to change it up a bit and DIY it, I thought I would cut it and make it a stem, because you could do that, it could be stem like, but I decided to stick with it and just make it kind of not really a pilgrim hat, but not really a witch's hat either, just kind of something in between, give it a more muted look instead of a very out there witch's hat. But I started with outlining where I wanted the brim to go and where I wanted the belt to go. And I started it with black, and then I just kind of went over the black and went in with my browns. And I did a crossing pattern, a cross with X's, if that makes sense. So I just used my brown here for the base of it. I didn't use any like special coloring or anything. I just kind of got a little bit lazy and decided I wanted a darker brown than the browns I used in the pumpkins, to add some different variations within the painting itself. And then I went on with my tan color that I did use on the pumpkins again on the highlights of the pumpkins, and I just did a little pattern. You don't have to add a pattern, you can just make it all one color if you'd like. It's all up to you. But it was very simple just to paint this hat. I really enjoyed painting this part. It was quite nice to add like a different touch to just pumpkins. There's the finished hat with my crosshatch pattern. Now I took a gold yellow and I wanted to put happy fall y'all on it, and I really like that saying. I say y'all all the time, and I'm from Pittsburgh, and if you know anybody about our Pittsburgh people, they say yins all the time, and I've always just said y'all. It just makes sense to me. So I really wanted a sign to say happy fall y'all, because my family makes fun of me all the time for using the term y'all. But if you're not exactly good at cursive writing or writing at all, you can always go on the internet and print out a font that you like, and then you can transfer it on there if you have transfer paper. Can't talk today, but if you have transfer paper, you can always do that. Or a trick is to take a graphite pencil and like scribble it all over the back of the paper where your stencil is, and then go in over top and write on or trace your outline for your words that you want, the prompt that you want. And you can do it that way, and then you can paint over where the graphite was left onto your painting. But I'm actually pretty okay with my handwriting. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. I just think it's nice and homey, and it's mine. So I just wrote happy fall y'all, and I think it turned out nice. Now here is where I was patient and I did let the whole front side of the pumpkins dry until they were completely dry. I actually waited a whole day, and now I took a stake off another sign from the Dollar Tree and I'm just hot gluing it to the back. It may fall off, it may not, it depends on how bad it's gonna be blown or touched, or if you have dogs around or whatever. If it falls off, I wasn't too concerned with it because then I could just put it inside or hang it somewhere. There is a hole up the top of the hat because it did have a ribbon that came on it. You could always hang it up instead of just putting a stake on it or just sitting it somewhere. That is a option for yourself. But this is what it looks like. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys make it for yourself also. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Again, it's just Dollar Tree items for a stake, for the sign, and a couple paints I had laying around. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thank you. Bye.